Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Boomy and today we are watching how Earth's geography will change with climate change by Real Life Lore. Yes, I've been having this itch of watching more Real Life Lore videos. They are really good. And well, aside from being entertaining, they are very educational, which is something that I'm always about. So, yeah, unfortunately, a good number of people don't believe in climate change, primarily because they don't feel the effects just yet. And I'm sorry to say that, at least from what I've seen, a lot of them are from America. Not that I'm saying Americans are dumb enough not to believe in climate change, I'm saying that some of them do. Well, some of them are. And unfortunately, a good number of them have, how do you call this? Have an influential voice in well, let's just put it this way. They have a high position in the government, which is not helping things, especially with a recent, well, not really recent, but relatively recent event in, I believe it was in Texas, where it snowed. I'm not sure if it was in Texas. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But that I think you guys know what I'm talking about, right? But yeah, I've seen a lot of people with their videos of carrying snowballs and putting a fire on them and saying there's no climate change, it's not melting, stuff like that. I think I've it was a Congress meeting that I've seen that one politician was also doing the same thing. I'm not sure if I was mistaken or forgot what the video was actually about. That's just something that I remember at the top of my head. So, again, if I'm wrong on any of that, please do correct me down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to listen to you guys on that. But yeah, let's go ahead and check this out. So remember, if you like my reactions, don't forget to leave a like. Let me know your thoughts on the video down in the comment section below and consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to leave your suggestions on what you should check out next, be it a real life lore video or any other video. And yeah, that being said, let's go ahead and watch the video.
This video was made possible by CuriosityStream. Get an annual subscription, including access to Nebula, for just $12 a year for a limited time at curiositystream.com/reallifelore.
Yep, guys, go ahead and visit curiositystream.com/reallifelore if you're interested in that. It comes bundled with Nebula. So yeah, let's go ahead and continue.
$12 a year for a limited time at curiositystream.com/reallifelore. Our planet is getting warmer. Exactly how
Mm-hmm.
much warmer it's going to get in the future is anybody's guess, but let's just say for fun that the Earth's average temperature increases by, I don't know, let's say 4 degrees Celsius by the end of the 21st century. How will that change our planet's
A
geography,
lot,
and
actually.
how will it change all of our daily lives? For starters, the scenario is based on a map created by a guy named Parag Khanna in his book Connectography, which was published 4 years ago back in 2016, the link for which is down in the description. Now in the book, Khanna created this map that shows what a speculative world would look like that's 4 degrees Celsius warmer, and there's a lot of interesting implications to
I'm
unpack
not.
here.
I'm not like I don't know what the colors mean. I'm guessing the green means the ice is gone, obviously. White means ice. Yellow is gonna be warm, right? Most likely. Yellow and red are heat. I am not liking the yellow. I was hoping for a white here so that it would be cold. I mean, if you guys don't know, I really like the cold. My body is very sensitive to heat and I sweat a lot, so yeah, I prefer the cold. Thank you very much. But Russia is looking good though. Russia and Canada and a part of Greenland.
First off, the bad news. Most of the world is now a desert, which sucks.
Ah, the
Just
yellow
look
is
at
a
how much
desert.
sand there is on this map now. Jeez.
Yep.
Every continent in the world is now home to massive deserts, and Africa is a
Okay, so desert, it's even worse than I thought. Does it mean sand? Does it really have to be sand or just desert temperatures? Because if it comes with sand, shit, I'm already battling this very dusty room that I'm in with a lot of dust coming from the outside blowing in. So, this is not gonna be good for
effectively
me.
an entire desert continent.
I mean, a good thing though, I'll probably be dead by the time this happens, so that's a positive, I guess.
Extreme weather, droughts, and floods render most of the rest of Earth's surface uninhabitable in their own ways, and the only habitable zones left on the planet are the narrow bands of land closer to the poles. So here's a list of the most
That's
heavily
ironic.
screwed over countries in the world and what would happen to them in this scenario, followed by the countries that might actually be kind of okay and maybe
I'm
actually
moving to
benefit the
Russia.
most. China, almost entirely an uninhabitable desert. The
Oof.
Yellow and Yangtze rivers dry up, and intense weather erodes much of the land away, which leaves behind a vast and sparsely populated
Damn.
desert.
That's not gonna be a good news for everyone's economy. I mean, if this actually happens and production stops in China, everyone's not gonna be getting stuff at all.
Almost everybody living here will have to evacuate, which
Oh
is
no,
over
Japan!
1.4 billion people. The same thing will happen in Korea and Japan too, which also
No.
effectively become hot, uninhabitable deserts.
God damn it.
Indonesia, significant parts of the island chain are submerged underwater from rising sea levels. Borneo
Ooh.
becomes a desert, and the rest of the islands are plagued by extreme weather and floods. Most of the islands in Polynesia, gone. Just gone. All underwater. 100% evacuation of the populations are necessary. The
Oof.
Indian subcontinent. Bangladesh is almost entirely flooded and underwater from rising sea levels, meaning that
Hey.
almost
It looks like only a part of Luzon is gone. This is where I live, somewhere here in central Visayas, so it looks like I'm good, apart from the desert, but still, I don't have to worry about this because I'm probably long dead by then.
all of the 160 million plus people who live here will have to be relocated. Most of the glaciers in the Himalayas have melted, which contributes to mighty rivers like the Ganges and the Indus to dry up. Most of India becomes a desert with only a tiny habitable area in the far
Oof.
south still remaining suitable for agriculture and human life. Pakistan is plagued by severe droughts after the Indus dries up, meaning that only isolated pockets of human communities will be able to continue existing here. Most of
I've seen that Pakistan actually relies on a river for their fresh water, so if that dries up, it's gonna
the
be a problem.
population will have to be relocated elsewhere. Africa is now an entire desert continent, but with some potential to reforest the Sahel. Africa's entire population will have to either concentrate into just the Sahel or evacuate to the more habitable zones on other continents. South America is mostly pretty screwed. The Amazon rainforest is destroyed and transforms into a massive desert. The glaciers high up in the Andes mostly melt away, just like in the Himalayas, leaving areas like Peru a dry and uninhabitable wasteland. Brazil is plagued by deserts, floods, and droughts and will have to mostly be evacuated. The only part of South America that will be productive and remain highly livable is the far southern reaches of Patagonia in Chile and Argentina.
The problem here is that with these types of massive evacuations, borders are gonna get closed for sure. Um, let's see. U.S. borders for sure are most likely gonna get closed. They are probably not gonna take in um all those evacuating people. Let's see. China is gonna be evacuated. I don't know where they are gonna go. Probably up north in Russia. If this happens in my lifetime, I'm probably gonna go with either, well, the only places left are Canada or Russia. Um, Probably somewhere in Europe because they have good healthcare, or Russia. I'm leaning towards Europe, but somehow Russia keeps bringing me in. I don't know why.
Patagonia is sparsely populated
Ugh.
and cold today, but the warming climate and the melting glaciers will give rise to plentiful arable land that could be well suited to agriculture and human life. So, most of South America's population will have to either concentrate down just here or flee to other continents. Now, Australia is interesting because it's not all bad. The East Coast, where most of the population is concentrated today, would be totally desertified and most people there would have
Move.
to evacuate. But
Move to
new
the West
habitable
Coast.
areas that are better for agriculture and development would pop up in northern Australia and Tasmania, while the West Coast would become a pretty ideal place to be.
Oh, I see. Is this New Zealand? Looks like New Zealand is still fine. They're fine in the pandemic, and they're probably gonna be fine with climate
to
change.
grow some forests. New Zealand, on the other hand, will be almost
Yeah, it
entirely
is New Zealand.
unrecognizable from what it looks like today. The islands will be one of the few truly habitable locations remaining on the planet, with
Damn.
tens of millions of refugees from across the world will probably end up having to be resettled here. New Zealand will probably end up becoming one of the most densely populated areas in the
Hmm.
world, with massive
The new
cities, and the
Kowloon.
country will likely rise up to the status of a global great power. But other great powers will exist in this new, warmer world too. The United States, while severely weakened by most of her territory transforming into a desert, will likely still remain at least a great power because of Alaska and the far northern states. States like
Hmm.
Washington, Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin will still remain habitable and be highly suitable for agriculture, while Alaska will suddenly become extremely pleasant. Most of the American population will have to be relocated to these handful of states, but Alaska is
No, I don't know if a lot of people will want to move to Alaska with their. I think it was Alaska, right? Where they have. Uh, how do you call this? Was it 6 months of all daylight and then another 6 months of all like darkness? Was it in Alaska? I'm not sure. But yeah, if it is Alaska, I'm not sure a lot of people will want to move there because of that.
is enormous, and it's mostly uninhabited today. It's almost 1/3 of the size of the lower 48 US states all on its own, and with the warmer climate, Alaska could actually be used for farming. It's also rich in natural resources like oil that would be more easily accessible, and it could probably end up sustaining tens of millions of people living there. So just like New Zealand, Alaska would be unrecognizable to what it looks like today, with massive cities home to probably hundreds of millions of people. Anchorage, Fairbanks, Seattle, and Minneapolis would probably become the new most significant cities in the United States, a country that would probably diminish in power, but likely still remain at least a great power. Over in Europe, the UK and Ireland would still remain highly habitable with a climate that probably more resembles southern France or Spain today. And just like New Zealand and the United States, the UK would probably be one of the warmer New World's great powers. But newer great powers would emerge from the Nordic countries. Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland would all find themselves in a very strategic position, with significantly warmer climates than today, much better prospects for farming, and a highly strategic location near the now summer ice-free Arctic Ocean. All of the
Hmm.
Nordic countries would have potential to achieve great power status, with enough room for tens of millions of new people to settle in each. But the one in the best position is probably Denmark because of their ownership over Greenland. Greenland is gigantic,
Oh
but it's
yeah, that's right.
extremely underdeveloped today, with only
I forgot that they
56,000
own
people living
Greenland.
there because it's mostly all covered in a huge ice sheet. In this warmer climate, though, Greenland's ice sheet would be rapidly melting, which would reveal an almost new
Hmm.
world for colonization and resource exploitation. Greenland would rapidly be becoming very habitable and pleasant to live on, particularly on the west coast of the island, where Denmark could resettle tens of millions of people from across the world on. Denmark's overall population could, therefore, soar into the hundreds of millions potentially, depending on how much of Greenland is opened up by the retreating ice sheet. On their own, the Nordic countries will each become the new major European great powers at the expense of other countries turning largely into deserts like Spain, Italy, France, or even Germany, and other countries going underwater like the Netherlands and Belgium. If the Nordics can manage
Is it really strictly desert, as in uninhabitable desert, or can you still like live there? It's just not gonna be pleasant, and probably still receive resources from other parts of the country. I can see that working, but then again, if you have the choice, and probably you most likely will, you probably gonna want to evacuate. Just hedge your bets and not risk staying.
manage to overcome their differences and unite in the warmer world, it's highly likely that they would become a legitimate global superpower. But there would still be two other countries that would be in an even better position to become superpowers:
Canada
and
and
Russia.
Russia.
Just take a look at all of this nice, warm, and habitable land that both countries would control that's mostly a frozen hellhole today.
Yep.
Nearly all of Canada would become nice and pleasant with an ideal farming climate that could grow most of the world's crops. The Arctic Passage, meanwhile, would be free of ice year-round, and with most of the world's population now
New
living
trade
around the Arctic
routes.
Circle in Canada, Alaska, the Nordic states, and Russia, the Arctic Passage is, without a doubt, going to become the new most valuable trade route in the entire world that connects them all together. Canada's population today is only 37 million people, and the overwhelming majority of all of this land is uninhabited. So if she wishes, Canada could open up the floodgates of resettlement and immigration and resettle hundreds of millions of people from across the world into all of this open land that will now actually be easy to develop. Canada's superpower status would be almost assured in the long run, and she would likely simply replace the United States on the world stage. Meanwhile, the country that would be
But what if though? What if the US doesn't play ball and decides to take over Canada? That's probably gonna spark a world war, but hey, a lot more things happen for a lot stupider reasons, so I don't know.
somehow in an even better position to claim superpower status would be Russia. Russia has even more land than Canada, and even more of this land would become warmer and suitable for agriculture and mining. Siberia is enormous, and it's rich with resources that are hard to get to right now because of the cold climate. But that drastically changes under this scenario. The biggest problems preventing Russia from becoming a more significant power than she could be have always been the cold climate that she finds herself trapped in. Russia has historically almost always been an effectively landlocked state, because most of her coastline is covered by ice for a significant part of the year. In modern times, the only ports that Russia controls that are ice-free year-round are in Kaliningrad on the Baltic and the Crimean Caucasus ports on the Black Sea. The problem has always been, though, that both of these port areas are incredibly easy to blockade, because ships have to pass through the choke points of either the Danish Straits in the Baltic or the Dardanelles in the Black Sea. Russia's entire history and geopolitical strategy has been dominated for centuries by this geographic reality and the need to have
open up.
warmer water that aren't as easy to blockade.
Russia is probably going to be more bold now.
This entire reality changes forever. Russia's massive northern coast along the Arctic and the Sea of Okhotsk in the Pacific opens up year-round without any ice for the first time ever, allowing Russia to finally build ports wherever she wants without having to 100% rely on the Baltic and Black Sea ports during winter. Russia's enormous and sparsely populated Asian territory is finally available for massive colonization and development efforts with enormous supplies of resources that will be easy to get to now. Russia will be in the best possible position in the warm new world to quickly accelerate to a superpower status, and the position is so good, Russia will probably end up becoming the most powerful and dominant country in the world, capable
most
of
likely
resettling billions of people from other regions of the world inside of her borders. Russia and Canada both will be almost
and that will probably, well, no, not probably, that will most likely increase their military strength. Now that there are more people living there, they can conscript more people. Well, not necessarily conscript, but more people will want to join their army if they want to join the military. So that's gonna be a fun time.
recognizable to what they are today, but maybe not so unrecognizable as Antarctica. Antarctica will actually start to be greening if the world gets this warm, which has a lot of interesting implications. The westernmost side of Antarctica will be green and actually suitable for agriculture and colonization here. Currently, Western Antarctica is claimed by the overlapping claims of the United Kingdom, Argentina, and Chile, while another vast area is currently not claimed by anybody. Nobody permanently lives here, and with the area all of a sudden becoming green, farmable, and livable, and with billions of
There's
homeless
gonna be
climate
first come, first
refugees needing a
serve.
new place to go, a new colonial scramble for Antarctica could quickly ensue. The UK, Argentina, and Chile could enter into conflicts over their competing claims,
Most
while other
likely.
great powers like Canada and Russia would probably try and stake their own colonial claims over the currently unclaimed land. And all the while, the billions of refugees from
It's literally free real estate. I mean, what can these three countries really do against like someone like Russia? Well, the UK will probably gonna want to call upon its allies, but then again, the US is probably gonna be here as well. Let's be honest. So I don't know how kumbaya everything will be.
uninhabitable desert countries would probably just be clamoring to be resettled onto the currently unoccupied and now green Antarctic land. Antarctica will become one of the potential global flashpoints and source of enormous controversy in this new warm world. Would Antarctica be ruled by various different colonial powers with settlers reminiscent of the Age of Discovery? Would the United Nations intervene and attempt to resettle a green Antarctica with the billions of climate refugees in desperate need of a new home? Would a new Antarctica as a brand new country rise up out of nowhere?
No, that would be interesting.
That's made up of a culture of people from all over the world displaced by runaway climate change, vengeful at the rest of the world for screwing them over and destroying their ancestral homelands?
Now the problem is, doesn't an ice age always follow like major warming? So if they're gonna make a country in the Antarctica, I don't know how long that will last. Probably a couple hundred years, and then it will all freeze over again.
There's no real way to tell, but the extreme speculation is effectively endless. Natural disasters that destroy communities will be a defining characteristic of the 21st century. Learning about how destructive disasters can be and how societies can avoid them is fascinating to me. And I recently watched...
Alright, so we've already seen the pitch from the start, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip to the link. And yeah, if you want to get Curiosity Stream, go to curiositystream.com/RealLifeLore, and it comes bundled with Nebula now, so it's effectively a buy one get one. But yeah, very interesting video. I did not expect that we're most likely, well, us here in the Philippines are most likely gonna have to dip out. And Canada is looking very, very appealing. When it comes to mass immigrations, they're probably gonna be the most accommodating one. I don't know about Russia. Still, somehow I'm inclined to go to Russia because they are for sure, if that holds true, by the way, the whole prediction thing holds true, they are for sure gonna be a superpower, and you wanna be chummy with those guys and be as near as possible, because if shit breaks loose, I don't know. Oh man, but yeah, hedging my bets on a better life, it's probably gonna fall to Canada. I don't know about Alaska that much, but it'd be interesting though to know where you guys, if ever, if you're not, well, US is probably gonna do a bit of migration, so yeah, I'm interested to know from where you live right now, if that prediction holds true, where are you immigrating to? Leave it down in the comments. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Link to my Twitter is down in the description below. Go ahead and check it out if you want to, and if you're new here and enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. Let me know your thoughts on the video down in the comment section below, and consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to leave your suggestions as well down in the comment section on what I should check out next. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!